Time right now for like or dislike. Carson Wentz is back for the Philadelphia Eagles, and listen, I am excited to watch him play football. Here's how this game works. First time we've done it this year, just to refresh everybody. I'm going to make a statement. If you like it, thumbs up.
I like it.
These are all statements that I believe. If you don't, thumb down. You ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Quentin Nelson will be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Quentin Nelson will be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Just because you said it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You did say that a while ago. He's a good player. And I heard you talking during the break with, it may have been Nate, they're not that far away from becoming pretty good. Actually, I think it was Phil. Pretty good. But no, he's not going to win he's a lineman. Come on, take it easy.
If I said most impactful rookie, would you have changed it?
If Andrew Luck stays healthy for 16, the answer is yes.
Carson Wentz will play today like Carson Wentz. Amy doesn't hesitate.
Well, look, give him a little bit of time. Guys, early in my career, often players never came back from injuries like this, and if they did, it took a season or two. Players come back a lot more quickly now, but let's slow our roll and give them a bit of time.
I experienced that with RG3 when he came back from the ACL injury. He took a while to get back to being himself.
Well, it's also wet, so you think they'll probably scale things down a little bit, keep him safe.
Frank Reich will run more RPOs than Doug Peterson. Frank Reich will run more RPOs than Doug Peterson.
We're all united.
No. I'm going up. Here's why. The Eagles are banged up at running back. Frank Reich's going to run more RPOs than Doug Peterson.
All right.
Corey Clements will have over 100 combined yards. Corey Clements will have over 100 combined yards.
It's wet. It's raining.
Someone's got to move the ball for Philadelphia.
It's slippery.
Back.
It's wet.
For more on this game, let's send it over to Dana.
All right,
Guys, I can't wait for this game that Rich and Kevin are going to call on CBS. Amy, get us started.
Well, look, we don't have time to do a deep dive right now, but I think this is one of the most fascinating games of the day, and there's so much to talk about. This is a prove-it game for Cincinnati. Prove you're legitimate. Prove this is for real. Carolina needs to keep pace in the division. Norv Turner is bringing a lot of exciting things. I am absolutely stumped. I was ready to pick Carolina, but Rich Gannon convinced me with his discussion of the injuries on Carolina's line to go Cincinnati.
You know, Andy Dalton, he's been phenomenal since Bill Lazor took over as the offensive coordinator for the Bengals. But I think even with the injuries to the Carolina Panthers offensive line, they find a way to grind out the victory and beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
See, now I think you're right.
You know, pragmatically, you're right. And you might be right all around. I mean, Rich makes a great point. That O-line's ravaged, and this Bengals defense can come bring the heat. So from a matchup point of view, I think it's a decisive advantage Cincinnati. This is a gut call. I just think the Panthers play a really good game at home. Remember, they made Dallas look inept offensively. Dallas looked a lot better against the Giants, or at least more functional on offense here. So is it that Carolina's defense is really that good, or a combination of a few things here? I think they play well at home. I got Carolina.
I don't even hesitate. I am all in on the Bengals this year. I think this offense is legit. It's Andy Dalton at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. He can get it done.
Still early.
He's your new bestie.
Hey, speaking of new best friends, I've always believed in Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles. I'm going to have to find new material. Andy, Blake, unreal. I think this game is going to be fantastic. BT, who you got?
Well, I mean, listen, just because we didn't position the Dolphins as a viable team before the year doesn't mean that they're not viable now and very well might get better as the year goes on. I'm going to pick the Dolphins here, all right? I do so with a little hesitation. Raiders are coming out with a desperate tone, no doubt. The one thing that's got to change, this has to become a real home field advantage if they're going to do something. We'll see if it does. Dolphins today.
Yeah, that pass rush that the Dolphins are going to have in this game is going to be too much. It's already helped them lead the National Football League with 5 takeaways entering this ball game. It continues today against the Oakland Raiders.
If this game were in Oakland, I would pick Oakland because those fans would help that team hold the opponent down and they'd help them score. I think this is upside down.
It is. There we go.
But it's in Miami, and so on home field advantage, I give it to the Dolphins.
I'll hold my nose as I do it. Raiders are going to win. The Raiders are going to win. Here are the Week 2 results from the Pig segment. Amy, 5-1. Yours truly, 5-1. London and BT, 3-3. So those are your up to the second standings.
This may never happen again this season, so if I may just take a moment to do my Mona Lisa veto in my cousin Vinny imitation.
Yeah.
Hey, where them
You
mutes
might as
at?
well.
Where them mutes at? I want you
Absolutely.
to dance for us.
It's a
All
long
right, guys.
You wanna dance
Saints,
for us.
Falcons.
Mona Lisa
Come
veto.
on. Okay.
Saints, Falcons. BT, going to start them.
I've got the I know they're a little bit banged up. I'm gonna. Well, that's right. I always do. I'm gonna take the Falcons to win the game. Falcons.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons as well. I like the way Sarkisian spread the football around last week.
I think New Orleans is a better team, but it's a divisional game in Atlanta. I'm going with the Falcons.
Absolutely. Matt Ryan did a great job finding Calvin Ridley. Love the Falcons today. Broncos at the Ravens, BT.
Yeah, we hit this couple segments ago. The Ravens have had a few days to digest that performance, poor one against the Bengals. They come out breathing fire. Give me the Ravens at home.
I'm gonna take the Ravens at home. I just don't think Case Keenum is that good of a quarterback. I just don't.
Ravens at home.
Convinced.
I'm with you, men. The weather could be a factor. I'm still going Ravens at home.
This has 17-16 Baltimore written all over it. 17-16 Baltimore. Bears at the Cardinals, BT.
This will be a loss next week. I know it, but the Cardinals are bad. Are they really, truly that bad? 6 points, 58-6 outscored. They're desperate. They probably played the best game that they'll play all year. I'll take the Cardinals reluctantly.
Steve Wilkes going to have to wait another week to get his first victory.
Josh Rosen played today, by the way.
I think we'll see him week 4.
Possibly.
Let's see
I think
him.
we'll see him week
Come
4.
on.
Should be starting.
Yeah.
I'm with London on this because what do you do? Do you focus on stopping Mack and leave Trevethan open? Do you focus? I mean, there is so much firepower. I hear that pass rushers are hard to find, but there's so much firepower on that Chicago defense. I'm going Chicago.
When Rosen plays, I'll start picking Arizona. I love Chicago. The Giants at the Texans, BT.
Eventually, you've got to assume that Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know, maybe scores a couple of touchdowns at some point and they actually score some points. Listen, I said Eli's going to play well today. I'll stand by that. Give me the Giants on the road. Save their season.
0 sacks on the season for Clowney, Watt, and Whitney. Merciless. They have a breakout game against the New York Giants.
That's right.
And I will add to that, only 3 for the entire Texan team so far. And I agree, this is the week that pass rush gets healthy.
I love the Houston Texans. I don't think it's going to be close. Hopkins, big game. Love those defensive players you referenced. Giants don't have a line or a quarterback.
Listen, Giants may get crushed, but, Giants defense a little better than we thought they would be coming in. Giants defense has been okay.
Better. Just a little bit better.
Chargers at the Rams. BT.
Rams have the best roster in football. I like the Chargers roster as well. We hit this earlier. Tight game, fun game, close game. Rams get it.
Am I going to pick the Lakers or the Clippers? Battle for L.A. I'm going to go with the Lakers and the Rams.
I would not be surprised at all if I just did it.
You did it.
I would not. I should have to put money in a jar.
Go for it.
I would not be surprised at all if the Chargers found a way to win. But if the edge goes to better coaching, top to bottom, the Rams are better coached. I go Rams.
I still think the Dodgers can win the National League. I think the Lakers are going to be a 2 seed. And I've got an all-LA Super Bowl and today a classic on CBS, 31-30 Rams.
Oh, that would be a treat.
That'd be great.
That would be a treat.
Cowboys at the Seahawks, BT.
Oh, boy. Seattle is tough at home. We know that. Dallas is okay. You know what? I'm going to take Seattle. They'll squeeze one out today. Not going to be a pretty game, though.
The pass rush of the Cowboys make me think they can go in there and get it done. I picked the Cowboys
Tough one,
last
right?
week. I'm not picking the Cowboys twice.
Okay. Both of these teams have problems. I'm going to give the edge to home field advantage. If it was in Dallas, I'd pick Dallas. Both these teams have problems, man. I'm picking Seattle. I think Russell Wilson shows us some something today.
I have to say, I am genuinely stunned. I'm the only one picking. Has anyone watched a Brian Schottenheimer offense?
Oh, man.
Has anyone seen this offensive line?
Not pretty.
Oh, I love the Dallas Cowboys today.
Now let's send it back over to Adam and the rest of the gang, guys.
Dana, great stuff. All right, guys, let's get into this one. Should be a great game. Amy, get us started.
Well, look, Tampa went in last week, surprised a lot of people by beating New Orleans. But Drew Brees did throw for over 400 yards, and Tampa did give up 40 points. Let's watch Philadelphia's defensive front. A lot better than we saw last week from the opponent.
You know, you talk about that defensive front, and I know Don Bell mentioned the Heat and, you know, them trying to play multiple players at the defensive line position. I expect Dirk Cutter to take advantage and use that heat to his advantage and go no huddle, up tempo, things like that to wear that defensive front down, negate that pass rush, and allow Ryan Fitzpatrick to make some plays in the passing game to his dynamic receivers.
He's got a couple, no doubt. Last summer and early last year, I think we overhyped the Bucs, got wrapped up in Hard Knocks. Here come the Bucs, all these weapons, Deshaun Jackson coming in, right? Most of us were, all right, Bucs should matter this year. Bucs should be in the middle of the race, as Amy nods her head. So we'll let the whole world know that Amy was not amongst that group that actually felt that way. I got you. A lot of people felt that way, though. And I think that this year, we're doing the opposite. The Bucs are terrible. Winston suspended. But Adam, you made a point last week that was very interesting. I didn't miss it either. When you gave the Bucs roster and the upgrades they made a lot of props, not 12 win props, but don't dismiss this team as a bunch of losers. And I think a lot of people did that early. Ryan Fitzpatrick keeps playing well. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to keep playing football because Dirk Cutter's got to win games to save his job. It'll be fun.
And BT, that's going to be fascinating to watch unfold, as we talked about with Boomer a bit ago. If Ryan Fitzpatrick played the way he played last week throughout his career, he wouldn't be bouncing all about. He'd have been an established starter. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he can sustain that.
All right, BT, who you got in this one?
That's a tough one. If it's Wentz, I'm going for the Eagles. There's always one or two games where you scratch your head Sunday night and say, what happened? I'm going with the Bucs. I'm taking Tampa at home.
Ooh.
Taking Tampa.
London.
I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Ryan Fitzpatrick continues to play well.
I'm not discounting anything you men are saying on Tampa, but I'm going with the Eagles. I hope that's not upside down.
I know. I was just checking. I always want to make sure of that. I'm going with the Bucs. I really think Tampa's going to win this game. Boomer said it, and Gerald McCoy said as much on my radio show on SiriusXM this week. Ryan Fitzpatrick has a better chemistry with the receivers and the tight ends than Jameis Winston. Yeah. A lot to get into. Amy, get us started.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It is a rematch of last year's championship game, which was played in New England. New England won. This year it's in Jacksonville. And look, I'm not going to speak for each and every person in the National Football League. There are exceptions to this. But I will tell you that it is my experience that when you have a rematch of this nature, when anybody associated with the team that lost the first game, player, coach, front office staff, when they say, it's just another game. We don't have it circled on our calendars. This is just another game on our schedule. That's not true. That is not true at all. It is not just another game. And let me tell you something. When Tampa Bay came into Oakland, not the season after they beat us in the Super Bowl, but 2 seasons after, we all had that game circled, not just another game. So I don't buy it when people say that. Now, in terms of X's and O's, I'm going to have my eye on Jacksonville's pass rush versus New England's pass protection. As we know, their left tackle moved on. We'll see what they do. Bill Belichick, very, very, very smart. He'll adjust for the offensive line weaknesses, but that's where I have my eyes.
I mean, I'm going to look at the other side, the pass rush for the New England Patriots, and you look at what they were able to do against the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson. They got after him, got 3 sacks on him a week ago, hit him about 12 times, pressured him all day long, made him very uncomfortable. I know Blake Bortles looked at that film and was like, man, this is not the same New England Patriots defense that we faced in the AFC Championship game. It's a lot more aggressive type of defense. You get a healthy Dante Hightower back. I expect them to go after and make Blake Bortles try to win this game. I don't know if Leonard Fournette's going to play. Even if he does, he's not going to be healthy. It's not a great matchup for the Jaguars.
But isn't it fascinating how you and I both focused on pass rush versus pass protection, but from 180 degrees opposite?
Yeah. Listen, if they're putting the game in Bortles' hands, then I don't know that the Jaguars should even bother showing up because they're not going to win. This isn't the Bills game last year in the playoffs where you can run for 90 yards and, basically score, 10, 13 points and win the football game. Imagine from a Jags perspective sitting on what transpired last year all summer. You're up 10 points fourth quarter to go to the Super Bowl and you lose. I also think this is the kind of game, as I get ready to make my pick here, I think this is the kind of game for sure physically where you really begin to measure Tom Brady and where he is, not skill-wise, but in terms of being physically resilient still. He's going to get hit. He's going to get popped. He's going to get up because he's great. But the residue from the early hits that they should administer, even if Calais Campbell's banged up, oh, good God, I can't pick the Jaguars. I can't. I do it every week. I look like an idiot going against the Pats. I'm taking the Pats.
Listen, New England, 27-13. No, 27-13. New England wins the game.
You men know I rarely, if ever, go against Bill Belichick.
Ooh.
Wow. Abe.
Deciding factor is?
That momentum that circled on our score. This is our revenge game, and we're home.
Okay.
And by the way, I love the fact that they're embracing that. Seriously, they talked about Miles Jack, whether or not he was down. Like, Championship Sunday mattered. All off season, I screamed, Jags going to win this game.
Same here. You can't do it.
If Fournette and Campbell are compromised.
It's hard for me to do this.
Yeah. If Fournette and Campbell are compromised, I can't do it. All right, up next, we're going to head out to the CBS game site to get the latest on today's 1 p.m. matchups. There's our guy, Patrick Mahomes.
Stud.
I thought about that hairstyle. They wouldn't let me do it.
That looked good on you.
Me too. All right, guys, we talked about this game earlier in the show. Time to get the picks on the record, and BT, get us started.
By the way, real quick, when you were dreaming up those hot takes in the mid-'80s, were you wearing the Time to Shine Up at Mitsu?
Yes, of course, at a young age.
All right, listen, as I pick this game here, Anunwa, great to be back, very good player, success running the football, special teams, but I think it's important to know that Curse is coming back as well, and he is a reliable, find the sticks, move the chains kind of a guy. Get this logo away from me. Get this logo up. Wow. Jets are better. Jets will win this football game.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Jets. I really like the way Jeremy Bates is calling plays to make Sam Darnold comfortable. I think he'll have a great game in his debut in MetLife Stadium.
Let's go.
And you referenced Jeremy Bates. I will tell you, I am so impressed with the job Josh McCown is doing to help this young man develop. This will be the first time all day that we agree.
Yeah, it's clean sweep. And we talked about it earlier. It's all about Todd Bowles. The Jets are the better team. Not often you're going to say that this year. Hey, Todd Bowles, win the game.
I'll say this. You might say it a little more than you thought coming into the year.
You might be right.
You're not bad.
You might be right. We're going to shift gears to the AFC East.
See this.
Yeah.
To the NFC East. Washington hosting Andrew Luck and the Colts. We'll get the latest from that matchup next. Man, tell Spiro we say hello. Can't wait for it. BT, who you picking and why?
Well, listen, I think the Redskins might be the most overlooked team in the NFC, and I know they're the most overlooked team in their division. I got the Redskins pretty easy today.
Redskins, man. They're the better team.
Andrew Luck is playing behind his 37th offensive line combination, and he still threw the ball 53 times. I'm picking Washington.
All spring and summer, I was saying Washington was going to be a surprise team. Then Darius Guice got hurt. Should have listened to my guy, Big Fletch. We switch gears from one of London's former teams to another as we head up to Buffalo for the latest. Josh Allen getting ready for his starting debut. All right, Keith, great stuff. And last week we started a new policy here on that of the pregame show. We're holding everyone accountable for our 6 picks of the week. A quick recap of last week. Projected final score is 20 to -2. Nathan Peterman shouldn't be in the league. let
He's
alone
not
be on the
that
center.
bad.
No, he's not.
Josh
Come
Allen
on.
should be playing.
I don't think much of the Raiders at all this season.
I'm not going to pick Trubisky over Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who's on the defense for the Chicago Bears.
Not sure what to make of Dallas, but yeah, no.
Oh, and here are the standings. And remember, these are only the 6 games we pick
Freeze
at the
frame.
end of the show.
Freeze frame, let's just leave that up there.
I know, that looks good.
It's early. It's early, guys.
Very early.
Take it easy.
Very early. All right, the Chiefs at the Pittsburgh Steelers. BT, get us started.
Anybody got a coin? I'm going to need them for most of these games. A lot of tough ones. Boy, you know what? The DeCastro injury, these things are hard to get off. No, that's not what I want to do. What are we doing? The one that we're dumping
Leave
one
the
away?
one, yes.
Oh, geez, what a disaster that was. I'm going to go with Kansas City. Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what? Hardest game to pick, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers at home.
You know what? I normally give so much weight to home field advantage, but in this one, I just think it's going to be Kansas City.
I'm going Kansas City as well.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
out
going
on
to
the
do it
island.
anyway,
Woo,
but
I'm out on the island.
no DeCastro, not going to happen. Another big game for Patty Mahomes. Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. BT.
I really like the Vikings here. We talked about this a few times today. I think the Vikings are the better team. The Packers have to prove that they're not. That will not happen today.
I love the Vikings pass rush against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going with the Vikings.
Picking against a divisional rival at home pains me, but I'm going to do it.
Guys.
Aaron Rodgers,
Guys.
right?
Guys.
Aaron Rodgers.
Guys.
Aaron
Rodgers is playing today.
And he can walk on water.
And he can walk on water.
He
That's
might not
right.
be able to walk, but he's got the water part.
he might have a limp,
Right.
but he's getting across. The Panthers are at the Falcons. Reminder, no Devontae Freeman in this one.
It's a tough.
Reminder, did you watch every snap against Dallas? They didn't look, I know they won the game. They don't look very good. Falcons get it going, and they solve some red zone deficiencies today.
No Devontae Freeman. Also, no Deion Jones or Keanu. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers.
Well,
Against a division rival on
yeah,
the
I
road.
mean, Norv Turner, Steve Sarkisian. So on that, I should take Carolina. But I think that the reins are going to be taken from Sarkisian, or he will have gotten a talking to, or he's going to be just pushed away. This pains me, but
Great job mentioning the defensive players aren't going to be there with Neal and Jones. Obviously, no Freeman. No excuses.
Yep.
I don't care. Biggest spot of any team. The Atlanta Falcons must win and will win. Cardinals, Rams, BT.
Cardinals are a lot better, I think, than they looked last week, but I think the Rams could play a lot better as
even need
well.
to discuss
I got the Rams. Pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams.
I don't need to chit-chat about this one.
The LA Rams are going to win this game, and they're going to win the Super Bowl.
They put 40 up today?
No.
They could.
They could.
They could.
I think the Cardinals' defense is better than what we saw last week.
Cardinals' offense is awful.
I also think the Rams is kind of like the preseason. Nobody played. They're still working out the kinks a little
Fair.
bit. They have that luxury. Giants at the Cowboys tonight in primetime, BT.
God, Dak looked bad in that Carolina game. Giants are a better football team. I'm not going to overthink this. Big Blue, and they usually play well than Dallas on Sunday night. I got the Giants.
You know what? I'm going with the Giants. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. The pass rush of the Cowboys will lead them to a victory.
One of these teams is going to be 0-2. I'm going to go with
Wow.
it's stuck. It's stuck.
Yeah, they're not easy.
I'm trying here. I'm trying. I'm going with
force.
the Cowboys, even though they're depleted up front.
You know, I quipped earlier in the show, the only team that could stop Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys coaching staff. I don't know,
Wow.
30 touches tonight. 30 touches.
Wow.
I love the Dallas Cowboys. And finally, the Monday Night Football matchup, BT, Seahawks, Bears.
Yeah, I've got Seattle. Both interesting teams, kind of hitting the reset button, whatever. But I think Seattle wins this game. I like them.
Wow.
I do.
I got the Bears. They finished this time. The Bears will win this one.
I agree with you, Landon. The Bears are going to finish. And, of course, since Russell Wilson is playing quarterback, running back, and offensive line, he's
That's
going to
right.
get a little tired.
Listen, I saw our records last week, so I don't want to sit here and say lock of the week. But I think the Bears
You know what's
are the
interesting?
lock of the week.
None of our boards are exactly the same.
That's right.
That's
at
good.
At all.
Beauty of the NFL. We're going to wrap up that of the pregame show right after this.
That Other Pregame Show presented by Kubota on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kubota's BX Series, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the USA.